The Trump administration's decision to deport Venezuelan migrants to El Salvador has sparked controversy and legal challenges. The administration invoked the Alien Enemy Act, a rarely used law, to justify these deportations. This act allows the president to deport citizens of nations deemed hostile to the United States. The administration argued that Venezuela, under the leadership of Nicolas Maduro, posed a threat to U.S. national security. Critics, however, have denounced the use of the Alien Enemy Act, calling it a discriminatory measure targeting Venezuelan asylum seekers. They argue that many Venezuelans are fleeing political persecution and economic hardship, not engaging in hostile activities. The decision to deport Venezuelans to El Salvador, a country already grappling with its own social and economic challenges, raised further concerns. Human rights groups questioned El Salvador's capacity to provide adequate support and protection to the deported migrants. They warned of the risks of further displacement and vulnerability for these individuals. The deportations have also drawn attention to the Trump administration's broader immigration policies, which have been widely criticized as inhumane and detrimental to the rights of asylum seekers. The use of the Alien Enemy Act in this context has intensified scrutiny of the administration's approach to immigration enforcement. In an unexpected turn of events, several Venezuelan migrants deported to El Salvador were returned to the United States. These migrants, who had been flown to El Salvador under the Trump administration's deportation policy, found themselves back on U.S. soil after Salvadoran authorities refused to accept them. The reasons behind El Salvador's refusal to admit these deportees remain unclear. Some reports suggest that El Salvador expressed concerns about its capacity to accommodate the influx of deportees, while others point to potential diplomatic tensions between the two countries. The return of these migrants to the U.S. has further complicated the already contentious issue of Venezuelan deportations. It has raised questions about the legality and logistics of the Trump administration's deportation policy, as well as the role of El Salvador in this process. The unexpected return of these migrants has also highlighted the human cost of these deportation policies. These individuals, already facing significant hardship and uncertainty, have been caught in a bureaucratic limbo, shuttled between two countries that seem unwilling or unable to provide them with refuge. The Venezuelan migrants who were deported and subsequently returned to the U.S. have shared harrowing accounts of their experiences. They described feelings of confusion, fear, and despair as they were transported to a foreign country, only to be sent back to the U.S. One Venezuelan woman, who asked to remain anonymous, recounted her ordeal to CNN, stating, "We were put on a plane, not knowing where we were going. When we landed in El Salvador, we were told that the president would not accept us. We were treated like criminals, even though we had done nothing wrong." These testimonies have fueled legal challenges against the Trump administration's deportation policy. Lawyers representing the affected migrants argue that the deportations violate U.S. asylum law and international human rights obligations. They contend that the administration failed to provide adequate due process to the deported individuals and ignored their claims for protection. The legal challenges also focus on the use of the Alien Enemy Act, arguing that it is being applied in a discriminatory manner against Venezuelan asylum seekers. They point to the Trump administration's own rhetoric, which has often cast Venezuelan migrants in a negative light, as evidence of this discriminatory intent. The legal battle over the deportation of Venezuelan migrants to El Salvador continues to unfold, with no clear resolution in sight. Federal courts have issued conflicting rulings on the legality of the Trump administration's policy, leaving the fate of these migrants hanging in the balance. In March 2025, Judge James Boasberg of the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia issued a preliminary injunction halting the deportation of Venezuelan migrants under the Alien Enemy Act. Judge Boasberg found that the administration's use of the law in this context raised serious legal concerns and that the plaintiffs were likely to succeed on the merits of their claims. The Trump administration has appealed Judge Boasberg's ruling, arguing that the court overstepped its authority and that the president has broad discretion to make decisions regarding immigration enforcement. The administration contends that the Alien Enemy Act gives the president the power to deport citizens of countries deemed hostile to the U.S., regardless of their individual circumstances. The outcome of this legal battle will have far-reaching implications for Venezuelan asylum seekers and the future of U.S. immigration policy. A victory for the Trump administration would set a dangerous precedent, allowing for the deportation of asylum seekers based on their nationality, rather than their individual claims for protection. Conversely, a ruling in favor of the Venezuelan migrants would reaffirm the importance of due process and non-discrimination in U.S. immigration law.